G'day guys, Josh Huggett here from Joshua Huggett Media, and welcome to Tog Talk, a show where we talk about stuff. And the stuff that we are talking about today is a baby whisperer from Queensland, but actually from Canberra, and her name is Natasha.
Josh.
Good start. Hello. I just gave all of your secrets away in the first 6 seconds.
I'm a Queenslander. I think if you live in Queensland over a certain amount of time, come on, like
Nah, you're
10
born in
plus years.
Canberra. It explains heaps.
I left Canberra, so that also. Come on.
But I think everybody does leave Canberra at some point, don't they?
Okay, look, Canberra is actually a great place to live. Okay, it's just relatively boring.
Canberra's the place where all the streets lead to one direction, isn't they? They all point to Parliament
Well,
House.
we have. Oh my God, you've done it to me. No, they have, because I'm a Queenslander now. Roundabouts, lots and lots and lots of roundabouts, and a huge roundabout that has like 4 sets of traffic lights, like on it, and it's ridiculous. And last time I was there, I got it very wrong. So
It's because you've left your Canberra ways, and you've now just become a full Queenslander where you don't have traffic lights, you don't wear shoes,
On roundabouts,
and you just live at the beach. all
I
day.
live at the beach.
Tash, can you just, for the people that don't know who you are, those silly people out there in the world that haven't come across you, can you just tell them what you do and who you are and not where you're from, because we established that, but just the other stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm Tash. I am a newborn photographer. I specialise in working with the teeny tinies and making really cool sets and spending way too much time on them. I had a commercial studio for about 7 years, and I recently closed that to move to a really cozy home studio, which I'm freaking loving, which has kind of changed my direction this year, but I do much of the same thing. Doing lots of newborn photos. I do maternity and family and things like that as well, and I love just trying new things and being creative and posting a shit ton on social media.
With the move home, because I thought about it and then I ended up just staying here. Apart from because we spoke, for those of you that don't know, me and Tash do know each other outside of this episode. Lots of the time, my favorite thing about this is like speaking to new people, and I always get to speak to new people and we learn about each other on the episode. Unfortunately for Tash, she does know me outside of this episode. And we did do a camp workshop together. She's coming down for Wedding Mania in December, and we've already done stuff. It's going to be sick. But so I already know that, you know, like the studio cost heaps and heaps of money, but outside of the financial burden that is having a studio, do you find that because you're now in your own space, you're being more creative because you're kind of more relaxed? Because I feel the opposite.
Yeah, do you know, so in the beginning, way back in the beginning when I decided I want a commercial studio, I was always under the impression that in order to be a very professional, you know, full-time newborn photographer, I needed to have my own space. It's just always the word commercial, just back, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, that was like the ultimate goal. I really thought you had to be that to be able to say you're a professional, right? I had it in my head for so long, but I also was dealing with a lot of people talking about work-life balance, and, you know, having a commercial space would help that and kind of put this line across your creative or your work kind of stopping, you know, like you be at your job, you come home, and then you've got your home life, and that kind of creates balance. I'm a mum of 2, so I have a 9-year-old little boy and an almost 13-year-old girl. And back then, you know, when I first opened my commercial studio, which I think was 7 years ago, so I had little young kids, you know, running around, and that never happened. I never had that break of anyway being able to like close the doors for the studio, come home, and have like this line of I finished work. It never happened, and nobody ever cared that I was commercial. No one ever asked. It never was a thing. Like if I just never even put it out there, and I never made a big deal of being like, I'm a commercial photographer. It just, I don't know, over time it kind of just blurred into this like, what's the point of really having this big space when I work with babies and they're tiny and I don't need a lot of space. But to answer your question about being creative, I find it hard to not be creative and I have to stop myself from overdoing it all the time. But I will say I now don't have this pressure to create this work-life balance thing. I can come in here and work whenever the heck I want and close the door. And that might be 10 o'clock at night because I want to create something. It's actually made me so much happier because I don't have to get in the car, or get ready, get in the car, drive 20 minutes to the studio, set everything up, and then have to leave that and come, and then come home when I'm finished. I never feel like I'm really finished anything. So this is so much better for me. So much better. I'm so much less stressed. I can create a cake smash whenever the heck I want to. I make like cake smash backgrounds and things, and I can set it up, and then if I don't like it, I can tear it down and fix it again. Like, it just doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. It's great.
It would be heaps easier now that the kids are kind of not there. Because I remember when I first got this studio, it was because Bianca was home with Violet all of the time, and it was like that. I think it's a really good idea for people with a small kid to get away from them.
That was great.
And it did give me that separation of church and state where it was like, I go into work, because I will work all day and all night. And this does because I leave my laptop here, I leave all of my stuff here so that when I get home, I do have another laptop there that I could do some work on if I needed to, but I try not to do any work on that laptop. But I originally got this space as the similar thing to you, where it was like, I need to leave my house because I wasn't getting anything done. That Bianca would come home from a play group or something with Violet, and she'd be like, can you just make some lunch for Violet? And then so I would stop. And then I would have like a 45-minute break while I was making lunch for Violet. And then Bianca would get home and it'd be like, oh, do you want to hang out for a little bit because Violet's asleep? We could have lunch together. Isn't that nice? And then in my head, I'd be like, yeah, this would be nice. This is why you're an entrepreneur. This is why you have your own business. So you can take time off. And then you would realize that it had been like 3 weeks and you'd done absolutely fucking nothing.
See, you still have little ones. So mine don't bug me anymore. If anything, they're like, Mum, I've had enough of you. Go away.
Yeah.
I'm at that total. So I guess that's why it is so easy for me. Like being home today. My husband's been a stay-at-home dad for the past 9 years, and this is the first year he's got a casual job, and he works 3 days a week, and I have the whole house to myself. There is nobody here. They're at school. School holidays do start next week, though, so this is going to be, I think, my first official school holidays with the kids at home. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe when you talk to me in 3 weeks' time, I'll be like, I've made a mistake.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of concerned about. So I've gone month to month here because I was like, my plan was to go home, save myself some money. I could just work from home. But now
month
I'm a
to
bit...
month is good.
Yeah. Well, half the shops here are fucking empty. They're all leaving. So I've got a bit of bargaining. And we've just had a homeless man move into the car park
sweet.
with his van. So we've had to lock all of the toilets because he threatened a staff member. So now the public toilets are locked and we get a key. It's all happening down here in Old Ranella. It's fucking wild. But I've gone month to month because I wasn't sure if I wanted to come back home. The reason I enjoyed having this space to start with, and I still really do enjoy it, is because I know that I've got a $22,000 commitment every year that I need to make. Like, I need to make the most out of that $22,000. My fear is that I would then, and see, I'm answering my own questions in my own fucking head, but like, you going back home and me going back home would make me less motivated. But also, because you're such a fucking creative person, does it then free up the need to create just to pay bills, and now you can kind of just create because you actually want to?
Yeah, it's bringing back the whole reason I started my business in the beginning. I obviously need to run it as a business. I need to make money. My husband just works casually. I've got a mortgage to pay and cars to pay for, and the kids are getting older, which is actually making them more expensive. They want things. So I still need to run this as a business, and I still need to obviously continue to earn a living. But it's made like doing personal projects and just creative things on the side so much easier and so much more just fun. Because I think when you're a photographer and you go full time, all of a sudden something shifts and it's like you're in money making mode and you kind of forget about the whole reason you're in this industry and the creative side and just having fun with it. So for me, I just feel a lot more free. I just feel like I can go and travel if I want to, or if I can come to Adelaide and do Wedding Mania and there's nothing holding me back, And it's awesome. So I was a little bit worried. This was a big business decision for me, taking this step, and I was terrified, especially because it happened at a crazy part of my life as well. But I'm happy. I'm good. I'm glad it's actually worked out. I was terrified.
Let's get to the end of the school holidays, and then we'll say that it's worked out.
Yeah, but there's wine for that.
There is wine for that.
Yeah.
And also, with the kids being older, it does make it that little bit easier because they are that little bit more self-sufficient, especially your kids, because they can cook their own fucking food.
They're pretty... My kids have had to be learn to be very independent because they have such a creative and spontaneous mum, and that's what I like to use as a very positive term. They have to feed themselves because I can't cook.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's fine. Life skills.
Life skills. It's just teaching them to get better, really.
Be tough.
I want to go right back to the start because
God.
you operate under Dawn Photography. Mm-hmm. And I preach personal brand and have always preached personal brand and always will. But you, and now I know that you made this name when you were a kid, but I don't know why. And I want to know why Dawn Photography, why Dawn, is it your grandma's name? And that whole backstory. Why Dawn Photography? Why not a personal brand? Especially with someone with so many followers, like, you're still going down that path.
Well, I just don't see the need to change it anymore. Everyone knows me as Dawn Photography. And it's funny because lots of people call me Dawn. Firstly, it's my middle name, which is good. So you call me Dawn, it's not that far off. It's like close enough. It is my grandmother's name.
I fucking knew it.
It is my mum's name. So my mum's mum, and I never really got a chance to meet her. She passed away when I was a baby, so I was like 6 months old. But I think, I'm terrible with working out when I did this, but I think it was around the age of 10. I was telling my family that I was going to be a photographer. All during school, I did stop work animation and photography, and I was that nerdy kid who did all the presentations and like the lighting, and I did all the slideshows and stuff. I was the tech person, and I just told everybody I was going to be a photographer, and I was going to name it Dawn Photography. It'd be Dawn Photography, and it was going to be after Mum's mum, and it was very cute. And I think my family were like, "Yeah, sure, good luck, yeah, make a living out of that." Go Tash. My mum was always very supportive.
Everybody else is like, yeah, nice
Everybody else is like, oh, good luck.
Yeah, nice try.
Look, it's tricky. I mean, it is hard for someone to turn around and be like, at such a young age, going, I'm going to do that. And obviously, as I grew up, I kind of let it go, and I came back and let it go, came back all through high school into college. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. It's going to be Dawn Photography. I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to create it. And I think that was when I was like 17. And I did it. So I registered, I think, when I was 18, 19 maybe, 2000. Oh, God, I'm not even going to go into years because then I'll give away my age now.
21, so it was 6 years ago or whatever.
6 years ago, yeah. But Dawn Photography, it just was set. It just so happens that Dawn had a little box brownie camera.
Oh, nice.
And my granddad, who... he ended up sending me her camera, so I have her box brownie, which I don't really know much of a backstory with that, but just that she had this cool camera, and I've got it now, and it all works, and it's a cute story.
Do you know what really upset me? Is this has got very little to do with your grandma, but everything to do with your grandma's camera. Is that they're not worth that much money. No. I got my grandpa's box brownie and I was like, oh my God. I got it given to me and I was like, this is amazing. Holy shit, look at this camera. It's so cool looking. It's an amazing camera. And I was like, I bet this thing's worth a fucking mint. Like, I'm going to put it on my shelf. I'm going to display it forever. And then I eBayed them, and you can pick them up for like $20. So without...
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm sorry. I have sausage dogs, people.
Yeah, they're sausage dogs. My golden retriever is just down here being an absolute angel. She's fast asleep.
I can't say that I looked at the price of my grandma's camera, though, I will say.
I looked it up because I was like, oh, wow, I wonder how much this is. I wonder if I could, like, get some parts to get it moving. And then I found that they're like $20. So I've got 4 on my film shelf back here, which you can never see because my arm's in the way.
It is in the way. I have a lounge room wall, and it's filled with all of the cameras that I've used. So like the first ever camera, which is a camera that I stole off my dad, which is a little Lumix. I couldn't remember what it was for the longest time, but it was a Lumix. And that's on the wall, along with the little video camera that I also stole off my dad. Sorry, Dad.
I have that plan. So we have like a playroom in our house where just the kids do whatever the fuck they want all of the time. It's just all of their toys are in there. But as soon as they're old enough, we're turning it into like a library that'll be like all dark wood and that sort of stuff. And I've got every single camera I've ever owned on this shelf so that I can create like a little museum of Josh, essentially, with like all my old museum of Josh.
I like that. I'll make yours that.
About every camera that I've ever owned, so I can put them all up. And everyone's like, why don't you sell your gear? And it's like, because I'm making a fucking museum.
It's cool. I love when people, not that many people come to my house because I don't let them, but other than clients, they come into my lounge room and it's just like a wall of, I've put it all in from a timeline. So when I first used it all the way through, and one half is all the digital side and then the other side is the film cameras, which I would love to learn a lot more about film. I used to do darkroom and things like that in college, but that was so long ago. You know, I would love to. But I've got, the wall, and I love looking at it. I like the kids ask questions, and I've got a book that's like an encyclopedia thingy of like all the different cameras, and you go through, and I like that. I think it's cool. I try to teach the kids about cameras. They really don't care, but
the Museum of Tash. You've got your own museum.
I do.
The Museum of Tash. Dawn Museums. But so back again, you used to shoot weddings. You used to shoot a lot of weddings. And then you made the pivot.
Yeah.
What made newborns and families feel more like home to you opposed to like weddings?
I think, like all photographers, when they play around with different styles and different genres of photography, or whatever you want to call it, different types. I don't know. I weddings, and I did love weddings. I thought they were great. It was my first kind of step into the business world, was doing heaps and heaps of weddings and meeting people and meeting celebrants and other photographers and videographers and stylists, and I loved all of that creative side, right? I was always loving the setups, and I'd always comment on, all of that kind of thing. So I knew I wanted to do something that was very creative. But weddings just got to the point where I don't necessarily love travel, and I do not like driving, and I do not like the stress of and worry of being late or something happening that was out of my control. And it used to drive me crazy, like to the point where I would leave for a wedding, 4 hours, to be there 4 hours earlier than I even needed to be. If I had to fly somewhere, I'd fly 2 days beforehand. I just take it too far. The stress of that, it killed me. That, and I got to a point in my business where I was so freaked out of getting everybody together to do a group photo after a ceremony. And I told my dad this, and he sat me down and he taught me how to do the woof whistle. And now I can whistle really freaking loud and get people's attention. But then I realized I didn't like that. I don't like it. I could do it, but I don't like it. And receptions were just never my fun thing. But, it's been so long, and I constantly think about whether I would enjoy doing a wedding again or two.
Because you were really young when you first started.
Really,
you were shooting weddings as like a fucking baby.
I was 18, 19, and I did them for a good while. Like, I think it's only been maybe 5 years since I've totally done no weddings whatsoever. And I kind of I think the other thing is that I never learnt to properly price myself. I never learnt to stand up for myself during weddings, and I always over delivered, and I get so caught up in the emotion of it all. And when I realized that all of the weddings that I had shot, the next natural step was that they were going to start a family, or they were going to do couple photos, or they were going to, buy their first house, and I could do photos of that kind of moment. I fell in love with all the smaller things, and I loved getting, the call saying, Tash, do you think you could do a maternity shoot? And then being able to see these couples again. So I turned all the wedding clients into just a natural progression of family. And it was exciting to me that I could now see these people multiple times. Like, I've got people I shot their weddings, 12 years ago, and I've just done like their fourth child kind of thing. It's insane. And that excites me. But I definitely stopped weddings around the time my son, I really slowed down on the weddings when my son was born. It's just too much with 2 kids for me.
And it's just like, and I think being so young and starting, not that you were ever a wild partier because you decided to procreate really early. But it does kind of like stain, like if you're losing all of your weekends and that sort of stuff. Whereas people that start weddings a bit later in life find that sort of almost separation where you can be like, yeah, I get to go and party, but I don't actually have to party. Yeah. Which is my favorite thing to do. I love going and partying, but not actually having to do any of the partying myself.
Yeah. I also didn't like being alone for so much of a day. Like, you are working and you are surrounded by people who, most of them very happy with being a wedding, but you're alone. It's still a very lonely thing. And I think we've spoken about this before. You kind of end up doing the same things, the same prompts, and sometimes you get, it obviously doesn't happen well, it happens a lot, but it doesn't happen all the time, where you have like a couple that you just mesh so well with and you have an epic time as well, and you're able to talk and there's banter, and it's very, I think because I was such a quiet person and I was so young and I wasn't really sure of myself, I guess. I was always doubting my work and things, and I think that does come with the age as well. Like, I just didn't, it just got harder and harder to, show up and be exciting and connect and talk without it feeling totally lonely and just taking photos and walking away, if that makes sense at all.
I think there's like a big sort of change in the way that weddings and stuff are happening these days, especially like at least the last 5 years or whatever since you stopped, in that we now have such, well, if you can build out your brand properly, you can have such a personal relationship with these couples before you even sort of get there. So that whereas, even when I first started, and more, it seems to happen a lot more in America as well, maybe the UK, but where photographers are still sort of hired as staff, like we're paying for you. And you can see it in the fucking comment section. Just go on any of my Facebook comment sections and you will see it. Like, we're paying you to do a job, do your job. Like, I feel like if you can brand yourself properly and if you can build out this sort of like back-end infrastructure, you can almost completely eliminate that entire section of the market. And then, like, yesterday I was on a Zoom call with Sally and Lockie, who I'm like, we're going on their cruise ship for a wedding next week. And they were like, hey, Josh, did you want to sit at the bridal table, like, with us? So there'll be me and Lockie and then our best man and maid of honor. And then you can just come on the table too. It's a round table, but we'll all sit together. And then we're going to bingo the next morning on the cruise ship. And obviously you're going to come with us.
See, it's that friendship. It's that connection. Yeah. It's that. I never, like, I would have meetings with people at a cafe before they'd book me. I'd always be very big on, you're going to meet me in person before you booked me. And that was way back. That was like, because I wanted to explain to them, that I'm still new and all this stuff. I used to have this whole spiel anyway. But I just never had that. These days it is different. I am seeing that shift, and I'm especially now that I specialize with babies, this is a very personal thing, and it's a very private thing, and I'm involved in quite a lot, and I get, some of the first messages that babies have arrived. I often find out the gender of a baby before anybody else, like I love that. And now I have that, what you have with your clients that you can create. I have that in the baby maternity kind of world. So I totally get that. And I wish, this is why I look at weddings now and I'm like, man, some of these, they're freaking awesome. I'm a little jealous to go out and do this stuff. And I think that is because my kids are older now and I'm not needed as much at home. Or if I am needed, I can be 100% present and then I can go and I can come back. They're okay with that. They understand. Whereas when they were little, if I go and then come back and then go, they're like, why are you leaving me?
But you could just go out and shoot like 20 weddings and then just get your next 6 years worth of babies done. Just like go out there,
sweet.
shoot
Could
some
do that.
weddings, and then it's just you're getting paid to market essentially.
I would never go by myself anymore. I think I would want to work with somebody, do something. Or do you know what? I would love to build sets for weddings. Like I would love to do the arbors and the arches or whatever at ceremonies or stuff like that. I'm just more drawn to that creative side. As much as I absolutely adore taking photos, I really do love also having some contribution to what's in the photos.
So let's go straight into that then. Because you now, well, not now, you make fucking everything. I can see anybody watching the video, look behind Tash and you can just see all the fucking colors of the different backdrops. You can see all the fabric sitting behind her. You can see a plethora of baskets, not including the ones that are now in the storage container. And then if you look over Tasha's right shoulder, you can see a green wardrobe, which was not green a couple of days ago, which is now in the process of being made into a Christmas. Like you fucking make everything. How do you have such a creative brain to just conceptualize this stuff and then make it a real... Like, I could never do that. I could never fucking picture a cupboard and be like, you know what? I'm going to take some photos of Christmas in this thing.
I know. I look at a basket and I go, I can put a baby in that. Yeah. I do this really weird thing, totally off. When I'm looking for a basket, I walk around shops, and if you measure from here to here, that will fit a baby. So
That's
I'm like walking
knuckle
around
to
and I'm
elbow.
Like,
That's a fucking big baby. I'm
that's
a big
baby.
boy.
Yeah. But that's your generic kind of sizing that you want for a basket. And I do that, and then my kids will do that weird thing. They'll be like, "Mom, I found a basket. Could you put a baby in this?" And they yell it across the shops.
How many baskets would you own?
I don't know. And let's not work out numbers, because my husband I'll get in trouble. I'm not allowed to.
We know that you've got a problem. We've been through this.
It is a problem, and it's okay, because I'm aware of the problem, and that makes it okay.
If you're just covering the basket in a blanket, does it really matter how many baskets you have?
Yeah, well, yes. They all do different things. They're different depths, different styles. So much to this, Josh. So much to this.
So
but
what's
to Christmas, you want to talk about Christmas?
What's your creative process? Rather than me just hounding you about your basket collection, what's your creative process from, it's, it's Christmas coming up, or it's Mother's Day coming up, or maybe it's Easter. How do you go from a date in the calendar, which is Christmas coming up, to creating a set and then actually fucking making it?
Well, the creative stuff, we all know, it just makes me really happy, right? My original Christmas set, I wanted to do a big Christmas set each year. And when I originally started, and I have no clue about how many years ago, I don't know. When I started, I would buy Christmas backgrounds, and everybody would buy a backdrop. And once, every so often you scroll online and you'll see somebody has the same backdrop as you. Or, people release these beautiful... They are originally handmade, they're photos, and they get resold as backdrops. And in Australia, it is quite hard for us to have all these big elaborate props like over in the US and things do. They have... Some of those photographers have the most outstanding newborn maternity studios, and they can create these massive sets. Anyway, I just used to get really annoyed at it just being a plain backdrop. Like, there was nothing for the kids to do. And Christmas photos, and I'm talking about Christmas specifically just because it kind of does relate to all the other sets that I make, but they need to have something in them for the kids to do. Like, I feel like it needs to be an activity to get a smile. You're coming into a studio with a big-ass light and a photographer saying, let's do photos. That's quite scary. Like, if you put your kids in a room like that, they'll be like, why? But if there's something to do, or if there's something to touch, if there's something to interact with, that changes the experience. So Christmas turned into me using these backdrops to me using backdrops and adding props in front. And then I realized that that was really cool. And then I went, okay, I'm going to make the whole background, and then I'm going to add the props in front, and I'm going to add then an activity. And it's just built over the years of me just playing around with that. Real is real, and when you walk in and they can actually see these things that you've spent really a lot of time and energy and love on, it just makes it so much more, and it adds to the experience. And a lot of my work is the experience. It's actually coming in and talking with me and hanging out with me and us having a really good time and creating kind of this stuff together. So Christmas Minis just evolved. I mean, I never expected it to go to the level that it is this year, because now every year I try and one up myself. And, you know, all my clients, I've got, last year I did just over 150 families in the studio. This year I've made it a challenge because now I have like a quarter of the space that I had. One wall to set everything up in, and it's got to be bigger and better every year. I just will think of an idea and I will try and flow onto it. So Christmas originated with Santa's, I think it was like a Christmas couch. And then the couch led to like a window kind of, not a window, a like Christmas tree look, which then led on to Christmas Santa's workshop, which then led on to Christmas cooking. And then it turned into the front of Santa's workshop. And every single shoot that I've done actually has a prop or something that leads on to the following years in it. So last year's set was a beautiful outside the front of Santa's workshop, because the year before we did Santa's workshop. So I set it up. And I introduced a window. And the window, when you look through the window, is a fireplace, which then leads into this year's, which is Mrs. Claus's reading room, which has a fireplace. So everything has a lead on, and I'm building a really cool Christmas village that goes on top of a fireplace, which is going to lead into next year's. So
you're already planning next year's.
Yeah,
you haven't even fucking made this year's.
Yeah. Because it has to lead on to next year's, because everyone who's been doing this, and I think is just over 65 families who have done it for the last 5 years straight, they will all go together, and in 10 years we're going to make the most beautiful collage. And the window is a new introduction to this, because I wanted to see the kids grow in the Christmas window. So the window is going to be used in multiple different ways, and I've planned it all out. And the cool thing is that it's just the idea of it. I don't have to write down all the specifics. I don't have to work out, I'm going to use exactly this. It's just the general idea for the next few years. And it makes me really excited and happy, and it keeps me creative, because all these families want to see it. And like my Christmas village this year, the amount of messages I got off this damn Christmas village. And
Did you 3D print those?
Yes.
And by you, I mean you got
I got
your husband
my
to
husband.
do it, didn't you?
Yeah, my husband 3D printed those. I don't have time for that stupid printer.
No.
The program is ridiculous.
Yeah. So did he make the actual things, or did you just get an STL?
No, we had to get a file this year. Last year he made, not last year, the year before, he did the whole file, and I don't even know how he designed it, but he made me a rolling, full-sized conveyor belt for presents to go down. And he like 3D printed it, got skateboard, I don't even know what they call it, the bearings, skateboard bearings, and then it rolled, and then we had that activity for the kids. He as much as he gets annoyed at me for coming up with these ideas, he loves the fact that he's got to think of how to pull it off.
That's insane. So you're going to do it. That you kind of answered my next question anyway, but you're going to do it all in the studio. You're doing it all in the garage.
Yeah.
That's
I'm going to make
mental.
it work in a standard 2-car garage. I'm going to continue doing my normal work, and I'm going to have a full-size Christmas set in here.
Where are you going to put all of your stuff?
I have a storage unit that's
It's
so
full.
bad. Oh, it's bad. I opened it up the other day and something fell out, and I was with my son Riley, and he was like, "Mum, don't let Dad see this. It's not good."
But
Ooh.
it's already full. So how are you going to put more
My
stuff in there?
father-in-law lets me use one of his bedrooms for storage.
Oh, everybody, this is where we go back to the Tash has a problem thing. This is actually an intervention. It's not actually an episode of Talk Talk.
This is great. This is great.
There's a counsellor listening in,
so
and they're going to give you a call.
The amount of people listening. Wonderful, wonderful. Look, doesn't matter, Josh. It's going to happen one way or another.
So, have you ever done any of these shoots outside, or do you enjoy having you need the fucking control of indoors?
No, so I used to do outside. I did. So I know that we've gone on 5 years of like indoor Christmas minis, but before that, I used to do a couple of sets outside, and just the weather and dealing with that many families, like even if it's 30 families in a weekend or something, which is still, it's a lot. That's a lot. Dealing with the lights and the clouds and tree cover and the rain and everything, it's just too much. And to create consistency across all of my Christmas photos to make sure that everybody has the highest quality, best lighting that I possibly can, studio just makes more sense. Because consistency across my work is a huge thing. Yeah.
If you didn't have the garage that you have now and the commercial studio you did before, would you then be suggesting like hiring a studio for the day so that you get that consistency?
I mean, some people create the most beautiful Christmas minis outside. It's because I work with volume, like families. Like there's a lot of families. If I had, say I was doing 10 Christmas minis, for sure I'll go outside, and if it was terrible weather, I'd postpone. Or there are other options, like doing a little set that could be taken to different people's homes and doing sets minis that way. But for me, to create my ultimate consistency, I would hire a studio and build a set, but I needed to have my own space because my sets start from now and they sit, and like this cupboard, for example, I'm hand making books that there's like a whole thing to them. It's part of an activity I'm doing, so it's going to take me weeks to finish, so I need to visually see it there so I can add things to it.
So when you say activity, that's a physical activity for the kids to do in the photos, and then essentially what you're doing is just documenting the kids doing the activity rather than like, oh, come in here and sit on this wooden chair backwards and look at me. I'm still traumatized by a family photographer from when I was a kid, and they fucking squished my legs into this chair, and I was like, they're not going to fit. I remember I was like kindy age, 4 or 5. And they made me sit on this chair and like lean on it like this.
Oh, I love it. I was put into a flower pot. I don't remember it, but
there's something like that. But I'm still traumatized. So you make an and that's how you're able to get such like natural sort of photos, I guess, because it's actually a natural thing that's occurring.
And like last year, out of the 150 families, I think there were 2 families where the kids didn't want anything to do with it. 2.
So what do you do then?
Which, like, it's part of a mini session. Yeah, you squeak toys. But it's just a part of it. Like they didn't want to be by themselves individually, and that's fine. You can still do different, family shots and stuff like that. The other thing is my sets are big enough for family, so we can always have mum or dad in there, which is an option. But just engaging children and making them excited for real is the goal. So last year with the Christmas front of the Christmas house, we had the window, so they had to sit on the little bench seat, and they had a sign that they could change if they were being naughty or nice, and we did photos like that, which was funny. And they played peekaboo, and there were presents they could stack, there was a train that they could play with, and then they got to go into the Christmas window and look out at the window and find the things that I'd put around the room, and they had to count them all. And so depending on the age, dependent on the activities, so it just makes it fun. It just makes it engaging. It just makes it real.
I've always had this idea of family Christmas photos that I want to take, of getting that classic red lounge out, because we've got Kaipo Forest here, which is a big pine plantation.
Yeah.
And shooting it on like a 70 to 200, so it's all compressed and fucking that. But I also just really hate family photos and kids. So
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. I'll just go to a wedding.
Jumping around and
See, but it's like, and then I explain just going to weddings, and people say the exact opposite. Like, I could never shoot a wedding day; it's too stressful. Whereas when I was talking to Sally and Lockie last night, I was like, I'm excited to go to your wedding because it's actually like a break from everything else that happens in my life. Like going and shooting a wedding, it's like it's muscle memory now. You go in, you know exactly what's happening. You can kind of figure out the answer to any question before it's even arised. Like timelines being out, you can already fix it in your head, or any of this sort of stuff. But kids, man, too many unpredictables.
Nah, easy.
At least with weddings, I know the unpredictable things that are going to happen. People are
Yeah,
going to get
that's
too
true.
drunk, and then you just tell them to hurry up.
I don't know. This makes it fun. It makes working with children and animals is hilarious. It's funny. It's so unpredictable, but it just makes every day kind of different. Even though I'm doing the same kind of things, it still makes it kind of different.
So you're doing 150 families, which sounds like a lot and is a lot. How long is a mini session? So like because you see people doing for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, so 20 minutes is mine. But
That's
then
it?
Yeah, 20 minutes. So
What
I
if they're
have,
not cooperating?
well, that's the thing. Because of the activities and because of how I hold myself during the session and how I interact with the kids within the first 5 minutes, 9 times out of 10 we get the shots. They're comfortable. 20 minutes is more than enough for a 2-year-old. They don't hold that attention anyway. So if you work out a 20-minute session, you've got 5 minutes to break the ice and make people feel comfortable. You've got another 5 minutes to do the family photos to get them well adjusted and get the kids ready. And then you have 10 minutes of just kids' portraits and being interactive and playful. And then you repeat that 20 times in a day.
So you
Easy.
would do 20 a day? That's the...
No, this year I think I've booked 75 so far, and I'm doing a lot more weekends and a lot more. I've got a couple of weekdays in this time, and I'm limiting it to 15 shoots a day for me, just to make it a bit easier. And I think I'm going to cap this year at about 100.
That was my next question, is are you going to try to beat 150?
No.
No. See, I couldn't do that.
This year I don't want to do that because I would love to focus on getting some more behind the scenes and showing people, and then next year making it even better than ever. So really kind of taking a step back to enhance for next year.
Right. 1 step back, 2 steps forward, or whatever it is.
And
Hey,
sometimes that's a good way to do it. Go.
Next year, back in the home studio?
Yeah, I'd say so.
You're fucking nuts, man.
Yeah,
You're off your fucking rocket. So from a 20-minute shoot, you've got 5 minutes of breaking the ice, you've got 5 minutes of family portraits, you've got 10 minutes of taking portraits of the kids. How many photos do you deliver from that?
Yeah, so they usually about 20 to 25 photos. I've cut them down to that. I edit all of them, but they've only got 10 included in their package.
So they pay for 10, but you deliver 20?
Yeah, 25, and then they have 20 to 25, depending on how the child went, and then they have the option to upgrade and get all the photos.
Okay, so it's like an after sale. So they paid for 10, they can see all 25, but then they get to keep 10, but they can pay more for the extra 25.
Yeah,
cool.
And
yeah, great.
most people will upgrade.
Oh yeah,
but it gives people the option because, as we know, kids be kids. They don't always want to be in it, and if they've got 10 beautiful photos, awesome, that's great, my job's done. But I do edit them. I enjoy editing them still.
because you use absolutely no help.
I now use a photo as my final finishing, but the culling and the original cropping and all that kind of stuff, and I don't use presets necessarily. I try and get my lighting and my white balance, everything set in studio, and I like to use the colours in the background to be as true as possible to what I'm trying to create. So it's kind of just a challenge. I enjoy it. Look, there are smarter ways to do the things that I do. People shouldn't follow me necessarily for that process, but it's real. It is exactly what I'm doing. It's creating the background. It's trying to be as accurate as possible and really focusing on my setting and my lighting. Because it's a studio, it's controlled. I have that control, so I have the power to make my lighting correct and my settings correct.
So do you then get everything right in camera so that you're taking the best possible image and then just bring back some of those colours because you'll be shooting in RAW?
Yeah.
And then would you be able to apply like a normal, like create a preset from that and then use that for all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes more sense.
Because
I thought you were
nothing
individually
changes.
editing every... Yeah, I thought you were
nothing
individually fixing the colours on every single image.
No, but I focus on the actual realness of the colours so that when I am shooting, it's quite easy. It's up the contrast, like bring them back a little bit, and that's it. But I usually do a couple of families who come in every year, and they play around and they just spend an hour with me and we just do all the different things, and I make sure all my activities flow, and I usually speak to these families throughout the year saying, hey, can you come back and be my tester for Christmas minis? And I make sure I pick people who I mesh really well with and we have a really good connection, and their kids, you know, so that I can just hang out and make it more of a fun thing rather than like a model call. And then I test everything, and I've got all my colors, and I create, you can call it like a preset, I guess, to whatever I'm going to use, to copy paste really the colors that I'll use, and film some videos. So I've got some promo, and then we could just go from there. And I do the same thing for like all my minis. Like we made a big wooden swing a few years back. My dad helped make that. It's a massive swing. And I hired it out actually a wedding or two, which was pretty cool.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, we used it this year, and we'll do swing minis again next year. I have a few minis that I repeat. Like I've got raft minis, which we built a full, like a deck and a raft and a boat and fishing rods, and it's just
you
fun.
just posted that. You did video for that too, which was so good.
Yeah, that was like my first proper try at the whole hybrid shooting, which I had done, but I had never edited it and put it up because I was like...
So we've spoken about this a little bit already outside of this, but with the whole social media landscape sort of changing in regards to like putting kids online, taking photos of kids, posting them on the internet, weirdos existing in the space. How do you... Now it's a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but it's a little bit easier that you do have a following in babies and that sort of stuff. So you've got your regular clients and all that sort of stuff. If you were sort of starting again and you were trying to build out a baby business, how do you build a business taking photos of babies when you can't really post babies on the internet?
Yeah. So I was speaking to a couple of my students the other day. I have a Learn With Me membership, and in there, one of the ladies, she can never post any of the baby's faces. Just the place that, wherever she lives in the world, it's just don't share that online. So she has actually got a fake baby, which is really funny, which I think is actually quite entertaining because it draws the attention. People are like, why are you using a fake baby? But I encouraged her to do her behind the scenes and her setups with the fake baby, and that's actually going quite well because it's different, you know. And
well, there's your immediate hook straight out of the gate.
It is.
Is that a real baby or is that a fake baby?
And I'm wondering where it is because it's pretty funny to look at. I do have it, but then you'll screen grab some kind of weird fake baby.
I will.
Yeah,
you holding it. That'll be the thumbnail.
But it's not one of those silicone real born babies or whatever they're called. It's not one of those. It's like it doesn't actually have a face, but it has all these joints, and it's really good for learning purposes, and creating things with that and showing what you can do with that is actually great, showing setups or colors and things like that. So she's doing that. And I've posted a few videos recently where I'm trying out showing, so the prop is here, the camera is behind the prop, and the phone's facing me. So getting my reaction rather than over my shoulder and getting baby's face. So I'm showing my facial expressions when I'm doing these photos or videos and whatnot. So kind of just showing people the emotion that's there without even showing the child. So I've been playing around with that kind of content, and it's on Instagram at the moment, and people are commenting, and that's going really well. So I think there are ways to show what you do without actually showing the client and baby. I think we just have to be even more creative about it. And when people say they don't want their child on social media, you just have to accept that. You just have to go with it. Like the amount of cake smashes that I have to create this beautiful backgrounds and they take me forever, and then they don't want their baby in, you know, the photo. That's fine. You can show the background. You can show what went into it. You can take a photo of the cake in front of the background. Like there's just different things that we can do now. It still is a little bit scary to think that you might not be able to show a lot of finished products online.
Yeah.
That is a scary thought in the baby world. And I hope that things don't continue to get weird. There's always been weirdos, but I hope there's not more weirdos.
Well, it's just becoming more apparent now with short form content, because you will have seen the transition from like first starting and there was no real social media and there was no real there definitely wasn't short form content, and now you've kind of traversed that landscape to now where we do have short form content, and you've kind of taken complete control of that, especially like, are you the biggest baby photographer? One of, like, especially in Australia.
There's lots of awesome photographers in
Oh
Australia.
yeah. I'm not saying the best photographer, but
You
the
can call me that
largest
if you
following.
want,
I mean,
but-
I wouldn't be that last year. Though. Especially not recorded. Nothing
There are some
recorded.
epic photographers. I would say I'm probably one of the few who hand make all of the backgrounds and go as obsessive. I would say that.
Yeah. But what are some, like, if you were, you know, a new baby photographer? This has really gone into baby photography. I didn't think we'd be talking this much about babies, but here we are. Well, that way we can just, this episode is just for baby photographers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If you were starting tomorrow, you're back. You're starting again. Dawn photography's been taken. You are now nightshade photography. What's the opposite of
Mysterious.
dawn?
Okay.
Dusk. Dusk
Okay.
photography.
Dusk
You're
photography.
starting again. What would kind of be like the first 10 things that you try to implement, especially because you do coaching, so you can help with this, but like first sort of like 10 things you'd implement to maybe try to get those first bookings in the door, especially if you don't have a huge budget, because lots of baby photographers out there, or lots of new photographers in general, just starting, don't have the funds or that incoming work to kind of build, you know, a huge business out of it. I know you do all of your sets yourself, but what would you kind of, your first sort of steps be to get into there?
I think is creating a presence for yourself online. It's making yourself known for what you're trying to do. Trying to show people or bring them along on your journey is a really good way to do that. Involve, like, creating a community. I think that's a really cool step. If I was to begin from the very, very beginning, I would just make sure that I was really, learning all of my camera settings and things like that, and really improving my skills and talking to people and getting yourself out there. But as to putting yourself online, it's really about just showing that you're very keen on this and you're going to do it and you're going to make it happen, and really putting yourself out there, because a lot of people just kind of hide and hope that things will come to them. But some of the best experiences I've ever had is just because I've posted something, and it might have been something small that I didn't even think anything of at the time, and it's made the biggest impact in my business. It's huge.
So you also teach, great segue, Josh, great segue into what I'm talking about next, which is content and creating content out of everything, and everything is content. What would your, like, sort of, you know, your first steps, like you're trying to get into content creation, you know, you need to be making reels, you know, you need to be doing this sort of stuff. What is the philosophy behind everything as content, and how would you kind of go into creating this new sort of landscape that we're fucking traversing? I've said traversing 3 times in this episode, and I don't think I've said it in 6 months.
You
But
should
anyway.
just cut all the times you said it and make it a video. Look, everything is content. Everything is content, and I think it's understanding that. Yeah, sing the song. It's one of those things where everyone says, I don't know what to post. And it's just so consistent. I don't know what to post. Nothing is posted. Just about everything can be posted. It's up to you whether you want to share it. It's completely your control whether you want to put that out there or not. But there are things within your day that people will find interesting. Guarantee. Every day there is something that you do that is interesting. And it's funny because we forget all of the things that are interesting. To me, sitting in this room, this is my room. You pointed out the Christmas set. I forgot that was even... Yeah, I'm building a Christmas set. That's just like, that's me. There's like a stack, this whole thing. That's all headbands I've made. Like there's things that I just think are so, like, they're there, they exist. That's it. I've moved on. And I wouldn't ever think to post, but they are interesting to people. And it's just starting. It's just sharing stories on Instagram and using social media platforms. It's so incredibly easy to do. It's a mindset thing, and it's just pushing yourself onto the next, like pushing yourself to actually share. And if you're not going to share and you're not going to do it, maybe this isn't what you want to do. If you can't put yourself online, but you want to be online, then maybe it's just not for you. But seriously, everything is content as a photographer. Our bags, learning, the camera gear.
My
forgetting to charge the
favorite
battery.
video that you've posted recently that did really, really well was you making that fucking number
Oh
that
my
just
God.
like absolutely exploded.
Now so that is an example of content that I thought was rubbish. Okay, I thought that clip terrible. Firstly, I'm wearing my gym gear that I didn't get changed out of from the morning. Usually, I'd wear my signature jumpsuit. I do my hair, all that kind of stuff. Right? That's something that I do. I didn't that day. I had no space to create. Usually I'd have a commercial studio and I could make it look pretty and I had my plants in the background. I had my Jeep and my driveway and my garage door. I thought, this is rubbish. I've laid out some old baby blankets and I'm just going to make this 3, which is out of foam, which I've made heaps of times. I've made a 5 and I've done this so many times and posted it and it's never gone anywhere. Nobody's cared. This particular one that I had to edit and finish very in a rush, like completely in a rush, because my poor father-in-law had a bit of an incident and I had to rush off halfway through and go and deal with that and then come back and finish. It's not a very well put video.
Do you think that's why it did so well? Because it was so authentic? Because it literally looked like it was just you making something?
Yeah, it was just straight to the point. That's exactly what I did. There were no words, there was no talking. I didn't even use a trending sound because I don't use any of the trending music on Facebook. I just have to use royalty-free, whatever. I didn't even think about it. Put it up and look what's happened. That's something that I genuinely thought. I knew it was content, which is why I shared it, but I did not expect it to go so well and for so many people to share it and send it and then to get so many bookings off it. So many people
really?
going, oh, yeah. I now have to make, I think I've got next weekend, I've got to make a 1. I've got a 12th birthday. I have a 16th birthday. And somebody wants to know if I can do a massive 30 for a 30th birthday. So that one video that took me all of 5 minutes to put together is huge. And that's kind of what I've been telling everybody is that everything is content and you got to stop overthinking.
How many views is it on now?
I haven't looked. But I know that it did crack 1 million. I know that, which was
I saw it hit
cool.
1 million and then I was like, that's fucking wild. And some of my best performing videos are like literally something that I was sending the group chat and I was like, oh, I'll just post it to real. A lot of the time, if I'm thinking of something and I was going to put it on my story, but I think it's got a little bit of interest in it, I'll just post it as a reel and then share it to my story. Mm-hmm. And they'll do well. Like there was one I posted the other day just about how many weddings I'm shooting this year, and it's on like 120,000 views. And it was just something that I was going to put in my story. I was like, I'll post it as a reel instead. And then it's gained me 150 followers.
Yeah.
And I just put it on my story anyway. It's like it's the smallest things. And it's where, I mean, it's a bit harder because you have quite an aesthetic area that you live in, you know, like, well, it's not live in, where you create in, like your studio.
Not the rest of the house, but yeah.
Nah, look at the rest of it. But like in here, it's like it's quite aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Do you put much attention into like grids and stuff? Are you hiding reels from your main page to make them look? You just fucking post everything.
All the crap is out there. Everything's out there. There's nothing hidden. There is no method to the madness. It is posting as I feel excited about posting. And I think that's important when it comes to social media, is you don't want to do things that you hate. You don't want to post something that you're like feeling really negative about and things. You want to feel a bit excited about it. So to me, I mean, that video was the driveway and my Jeep, but the Jeep made me happy because that's my Jeep and I love my Jeep. So that's in the video. That makes me happy. But I like doing my videos in a space that does make me really happy and excited about the content. But I think you need to be happy about what you're putting out. It to some extent. It needs to make you like, you don't want to be super, I don't know the right word. You just got to be excited a little bit. It's social media shouldn't be this like terrible thing that everyone's like, I have to post on social media to get things. I just want to turn it into, it's a way to connect and reach people and provide opportunity to myself.
Yeah. And well, I said this maybe in the content course that I just brought out. And I say it all the fucking time. But if you can't watch your own content, if you're making it and you're bored making the content, like watching it over and making it again, then chances are nobody else wants to watch it anyway because it's going to be shit. Like, if you can't get through your own content, why should anybody else watch it? And that's why everything that we make, like, we make a lot of content because obviously I say a lot of fun stuff, but like every video that we put out, like, I enjoy the video. If I don't enjoy the video, I don't post it. And that's where people need to find a way to create stuff that actually brings them joy, and then the right people on the internet will sort of find it.
Yep.
It's why I try to have so much variety in what I post, because I couldn't post the same thing every day. Like,
Yep.
I hats off to the people that can just like sit in front of a camera and talk to it. But I need to be able to like post a video of me just talking outside, or post a video of me doing something else, and not being stuck in that like creative fucking cuckold where you can't post whatever you want.
It's amazing that everybody can do things so incredibly different. Like, there are many ways to do one thing, and you don't have to, like, copying somebody else is never going to work. You're just going to somehow fall into what works for both you and your audience. Like, there's just like some kind of happy medium that just kind of clicks. And the only way that you freaking get there is by trying and experimenting and making it and putting it out there. That's the only way that you get to this point. I never in a million years thought that I'd be where I am by posting on socials. And I mean, a lot of this has to do with, I did a thing called Wine Wednesdays, and that was huge. Like, that was a live video I did every week on a Wednesday with my liquid courage to talk to people online. And that was huge. That just opened up so many experiences. And that had nothing to do with showing my work or recent sessions or anything. That just had to do with me putting myself out there.
So 2-part question. 1-part question.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Is Wine Wednesdays taken from Gary Vee?
No.
No?
Did he
he
do
did
a
wine
Wine
tasting. That's how he
Wednesday?
started. Not Wine
Well,
Wednesday.
I know that.
He did, what was it? What was Gary's? It was...
I love Gary Vee, though. I will say he pissed me off in a good way, because I attended whatever you call it, a big show that he was at, and I walked in and I sat down, and it must have been before my son was born, or just after, maybe, wherever it was. It must have been just before, because I wanted to do this full time. I launched into absolute full time when my son was born. And he said this thing at the end. He was like, 98% or 97% of you in the audience aren't going to do shit, and 3% are going to take it, and you're actually going to action it, and you're going to make stuff happen. And it made me so angry, because I was like, I'm the 3%. And I did take lots of inspiration from him. But no, Wine Wednesdays was because he used to say that thing, you've got to put yourself out there. How do you expect anybody to find you if you're not even saying hello? So,
it was Wine Library TV. That was his. Every single week he would go out and he would review a different glass of wine or a different bottle of wine.
See, that's smarter, because then I could have different types of wine.
Did you just have the same wine? What did you talk about? Because that was the second question, is what do you talk about on Wine Wednesdays? Like, what is Wine Wednesday?
Anything. The Wine Wednesday was so that I could have liquid courage with me, and it was in the title, so it made it okay. And everything, really, what I was doing, most of this happened over COVID and lockdown and stuff like that, so really it wasn't that exciting. I had to make myself talk, which was scary. So I just spoke about family. I spoke about ideas for when all of this shit was over. I spoke about different things, sessions that might have happened, or I used to re-edit photos, and I would talk about why I re-edited it. One time I got my son and I wrapped him up as a baby, and he was like 5. So
Wine Wednesdays was your way of essentially, like, I tell people to get their reps up, and I tell people to film small videos and post them in the group chat and film. And that was your way of sort of becoming more comfortable in front of the camera and learning how to kind of like talk and engage with people. Because you said when you first started, you were a bit more introverted as a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
So Wine Wednesdays. Now, I'm not telling everyone to go out and drink wine every Wednesday and film it.
The live video is what we're talking about. That's the important part.
Yeah. Live video. Or just like, that's a very different way of, that's a very ballsy way of learning. Like, just putting yourself on a live show and be like, well, I'll fucking figure it out, won't I?
I also didn't want to be forgotten. over that whole crazy period, when lots of people were closing and lots of people were saying, that's it, we're done for now, we'll see back. I was like, there is no freaking way that I'm being forgotten. I'm going to stay online. And the only thing I had was Facebook. And so I thought, well, live videos are going to do it. They're going to see me. I know that if I created some consistency, I was going to be there. Whether people watched or not didn't bother me. The crazy thing was people kept tuning in and it became like a little show for this time period.
How many viewers would you get a show? How big did it get?
At most 100. Like, it wasn't...
Still not bad.
Yeah, but and that always freaked me out, because even having 20 people in a room to talk to scares the hell out of me. And I went to New Zealand recently and spoke in front of, I think it was like 60 people, and I was like, eh. And I could talk to people on the internet but not in person, so it's quite funny. But it was my way of just not being forgotten, and it worked. And it also was my way of... making sure that people I had bookings with knew that I was still doing this and I was still so passionate, and that when we were able to continue our lives and all this crazy stuff has stopped, I'd be there. So it was huge. It was an unintentional, awesome thing to do. And
How long did you do it for?
Probably only a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still 52 episodes.
It's pretty good. I mean, I did mess up many times and have to do it Blind Wednesdays on a Thursday, or an apologetic one Friday, but it's it still happened.
It was still there, and it was
there
still
until Instagram stories and
COVID
Reels.
really made and either got rid of or made so many businesses.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do a repeat and just kind of like wash a whole bunch of people out.
Do you know, lots of people aren't even talking about it, but some of the shit that went down in order to keep your business is insane. And for everybody out there who made it through, fucking well done. Because far out, that was hard, and it was traumatic, and there was a lot of mental things that we had to think through, and we also had to not think about a lot of things and just blindly trust that we were going to pull through. And that takes a crap ton of everything. It just takes so much courage and just power to be able to be like, nah, we're going to pull through, we're going to make it happen. Stuff happens, and everyone's afraid to talk about it because we don't like saying the word, because life did disappear for that.
Yeah, I don't wonder why there is such a little stigma around that word.
Yeah,
everybody's hairs go up.
It's huge. I made it through. I did it. I pushed. I didn't change anything. I was 1 year into a commercial studio, and I still made it happen. And I'm really, really proud of that fact. And I do constantly think back, no, I remember that time I was closed for, 6 weeks straight and had zero income, nothing. My husband didn't even work, and I still managed to pull through. And that was a very, very scary time. So
that was when I remember when I'm pretty sure I've spoken my COVID story before, but we were like building out Joshua Huggett Media. And I say I was building out Joshua Huggett Media. And I was like working in the car yard, and then we woke up one day and they were like, no more weddings. And I was like, fuck. And then I got a whole bunch of emails, and I had to repay a bunch of money. So I was out of pocket like 20 grand. And then we got told that all of our commissions and everything were cut in the fucking car yard. So we weren't earning any money. We were just earning JobKeeper. I sat outside at my table and I wrote down all of our expenses, and we didn't have enough money coming in every single week off the JobKeeper to pay our bills, let alone buy any food. And Violet had just been born, because she's born in 2019. So she was like, baby. Bianca's not working, no government incentives. And then I started picking up jobs in the nursing home outside of the car yard, and then completely stripped my photography business back and started again from scratch. And essentially like a fucking, what's that thing that comes out of the ashes? That bird? Bird.
Like the phoenix? No.
Yeah, like a phoenix from the ashes.
From the ashes?
Yeah, I was thinking of a Horcrux, but that's a completely different thing.
Do you know what I did? I contacted all my repeat clients and said, do they want to book for next year? That's how I made it through, was with deposits for upcoming shoots, which really screwed me the year after, I'd like to say, because I was earning half the income and half the spots that I had for people. And I had to work for 2 years really hard to dig myself out of a delightful hole I dug myself in, but I survived.
You survived.
So there were definitely smarter ways. Like I think I've said this twice now. There's smarter ways to do the things that I do. But
Yeah, because my next thing was to bring up how you create content and then you post it the same day, and it's the exact opposite of what I tell people to do.
Okay, I still reuse content. I will reuse stuff that I've made. Usually I wait about 6 months and then I start reposting a little bit in between, which gives me a little bit of a gap. I'm making slow changes to create more content and edit more and have a bit of a backlog. That's a recent thing, and that's actually come off talking to you and when we went to Mike's. I know. Just to give myself a little bit of a buffer, and to just like closing the commercial studio and coming home, giving myself a little bit more time to sit with some of the videos I'm making. And because I'm now doing a lot more hybrid shooting and a little bit more not just content off my phone or Osmo Pocket, it's taking a little bit more time to edit those and get them to look how I want them to look, since I'm new to the I don't say new to the video world, but I'm new to creating videos and kind of putting that story together in the way that I want it to go.
What are you editing on in?
Look, I was using CapCut for ages until I realized that was terrible for, raw footage from a camera. So I'm using Premiere Pro. I'm learning that. But somebody else said I should ditch that and go to DaVinci.
DaVinci. Yeah, come to DaVinci. I was on Premiere Pro for a very, very long time. But DaVinci is better and free. And you can use, you would get more than enough out of the free stuff, but then you can buy a lifetime subscription. So you pay once for $500, I think it is. Okay. But then you own it outright forever. Yep. But I still use the free DaVinci, and I have not found...
Maybe I need to DaVinci. Now this has turned into DaVinci. No.
It's turned into DaVinci.
Awesome. No, that's cool. Yeah, I would love to learn more and do more. And it's now another thing in my business that makes me excited, because I'm learning a new skill. So it's all cool.
It's all cool. It's all good. Cool. Tashi, did you want to just go on a little tangent here, and can you tell everybody all about you? Because you've got 2 education platforms.
I do.
You've got 2. You've got baby stuff for baby people, but you've also got, which if any wedding photographers are still here, if you've made it through the baby talk, you've actually got a whole other community just literally dedicated to teaching people how to get better content and take content and create content out of fucking everything. Can you give us probably a little rundown? No, it's a baby. Oh, shit. It's a baby episode. I just whacked my own microphone. Go for it. Just give us the lowdown.
Okay. I have 2 schools. My first one is Learn With Me Photography. And that is all about the newborn photography. But it's also got family mini session creating backgrounds, Christmas minis, studio lighting, editing, and basically my entire studio process. That is a month-to-month membership, and it's got new content every 2 weeks, and I do a live video each month and check-ins, and I go live while I edit and talk, and just basically people who want to learn in the world of baby and family, they join in there, and they ask questions and I give them the answers, and we do things together, and there's a content list where people request what they would like to learn, and I just take from it, create a video, upload it, and we go from there. And it's a really cool, it's completely go with the flow, and just like how I run everything, I just upload and talk, and it's just a very cool community base. I do a little bit of social media in there, but not as much as what I would really like to dive into. So I created a second platform, which is Everything is Content. And that is a new platform I'm working on, and it's really exciting. I have created a whole bunch of videos of why it even matters that we're doing this, the little bit of behind the social media and why you should actually care about it, how to get over the fear of posting yourself online and just talking about it and talking about why it can give you and provide you with so many awesome opportunities. So it's kind of a cool platform that does have a bit more structure to it. There are things to go through and places you start here and you can go through bits and pieces. But I'm also sharing about how I can film things on my phone and just take day-to-day things and turn it into content, whether it be for a story or a reel or a carousel post, anything like that. And it's good fun because it's also making me think about the things that I'm doing, and it's adding another layer of, when I post something on my stories, I go, oh, why did I post that for that reason? And then I'm talking about it. So it's really cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. The Everything is Content is relatively new, and I'm excited to do a big push for that in the coming months. But yeah, it's very exciting.
That one's cool. I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited
Not that
too.
I'm not excited that you teach people how to take photos of babies, but
social media is fun. It's got to be fun, and I want to show people that it can be fun. It doesn't have to be so like, social media can be a bit of a job, but it like anything, I think you get better at it, you improve it, and then it becomes kind of exciting to put out new things and see how people react, and you learn from them.
And it's not that scary.
It's
either,
not that scary. I mean, there are some shit people
Scary
online
sections.
and comments and dealing with that kind of stuff and dealing with people telling you how they could have done it better. I get that every day. I build a set and it might not have been what you would have done, but it's how I bloody did it, and I made it happen, and people like to critique me on it.
But the only
funny.
people that critique it are other photographers. And I said this last week's episode, maybe. But, like, I'll post sneak peeks on Facebook. Whole wedding sneak peek, normally about 50 to 100 photos. Post those. All positive comments. Anybody that isn't a photographer is like, I love how you captured this story. I love the emotion in this. I love these photos. This is amazing. You're so good. Blah, 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 blah. The only people that will comment negative things on any of the photos are other photographers that are like, I would have cropped that out. Like, great. Take the fucking picture yourself. Like,
It's like cool.
yeah, that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help anybody. And so many people that are like, they're scared to post online and all this sort of stuff. It's like, you got to remember that, yes, there is a whole bunch of negativity in this internet space, but usually they're the people that aren't going to buy your stuff anyway. So it doesn't really fucking matter. I don't care if other photographers don't like my wedding photos, because I'm not going to shoot their wedding. If they don't like your baby photo because they would have taken it differently, great. They can take their own baby photos. They're not going to hire you. There are 7 billion people, maybe even 8 billion people on this planet now, and you only need to make like 50 people happy a year to be a full-time photographer.
That's true. It's just one of
There's
those
also
things.
comment filters. Use comment filters.
You can use comment.
They're fucking heaps easier.
I love checking the requests sometimes for comments, and I'm like, oh, glad that one got filtered.
Yep.
I also like screenshotting them and then deleting anyway. So
Yeah. I just put them in my story. Give them their own little section.
I might have a fun things to share in my story very, very soon. I did a big cull of Facebook stuff going through. You have to be quite careful in the industry of babies and things when people say stuff. So I often tell people to just ignore it, leave it. Somebody else will see it and be like, who the hell's that dickhead? But I will delete some if they are inappropriate or anything like that, because that's social media. I've opened my page up to the world.
Yeah. And we do the same thing with our wedding. Like, all of the content that we put about weddings is trying to bring up other people's weddings. And like, all the content that I post, I never post negative about other weddings or my couples or anything like that. And if anybody comments anything negative about my couples, I'm normally like, it's hard when they go super, super viral, but I'm pretty fucking vigilant on like deleting comments and like,
because any engagement is good engagement, but at the same time,
leave my couples alone.
you
Like,
don't want to.
They didn't ask for this life.
And absolutely, I agree with that. That's one of those things.
Tash, where can people find you on this internet space? I'm going to ask you for links after this, and I'll put the links to the schools underneath it, so that way they can find the schools, because I'm sure there is at least fucking one person out there that has found value in that, if not hundreds. But where can people find you on the internet and do the internet stuff?
Instagram's probably the best place to find me, which is at dawnphotography.com.au. And I think it's the same on Facebook as well. I'm active on both of those platforms. I have TikTok. We have a love-hate relationship.
TikTok loves you. You hate
TikTok's
TikTok.
got a different name too. I'm pretty sure it's like Tasha Dawn Photography or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure Josh will put it below. But yeah, Instagram is the place that I hang out the most, and the stories are me all day. They're just as
They're
things
so
happen.
long.
So.
It's like a movie. If Tash
Yeah.
gets on a ramble, if she starts fucking talking in one of her stories, you've got to sit down because you'll be there for a minute or
You
six.
just skip. That's the
No, you got to
cool
listen.
thing. Oh, that's nice. Oh.
Literally see what Tashy's up to. And me, my name's Josh. I'm sure you're fucking aware of that. But we do have a paid community that you can come and learn from me. And I teach you every month. Our paid community is open to all people of all shapes, sizes, and industries, mainly wedding industries. But we can teach you about stuff, and it's fucking great. And we have a course all on making viral social media content if you want to do that. But other than that, until I fucking see you again and I see your little faces on Instagram, love ya. Bye.